Happy Friday, Stampers and Paper Crafters. This is Facebook Live number 499. It is Friday, July 3rd, 2026. My name is Joy Borwedge, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I live in Burnsville, Minnesota, and I have been a demonstrator since August of 1999. I have a cute card for you tonight, and it's pretty simple. I saw a really simple card, and then I made it Joy Simple. So it's not two things and then the card's done. But I saw this card and I saw the layout and I'm like going, this is super cute. I'm going to change it up a little bit. All right, I'm going to put you down at the table in just a second. If you get motion sickness or anything like that, just look away and I'll let you know when I am done messing around with the camera. So hold on. Well, it is July 3rd, so a lot of people, I'm sure, are celebrating the 4th of July this weekend, probably at the cabin, at the lake, at the beach, and maybe doing some fun stuff with the family. I cleaned. Yay me! I am going to plug my phone in because, as I said, I cleaned, and when I thought I was charging the phone, I forgot that it was not plugged in. So I'm like, duh. So, okay, so here we go. We're going to flip that up. And so, normally I do my Facebook Lives. Okay, I'm going to put this where it's supposed to go. I do my Facebook Lives on Thursday, but I worked yesterday, and I was not able to do a Facebook Live. Okay, I think that's a little, let's squish out a little bit. There we go. Okay, I think that's perfect. Okay, so anyways, we're doing the Facebook Live tonight. So again, my name is Joy Borwedge. I have an Instagram page at Stampin' for Joy. My YouTube page is Joy A. Borwedge. I have an online store at stampinforjoy.stampinup.net. penguinz33@outlook.com is my email address. So that if you would like to, say, be on my email list so that when I have a stamp camp and you want to come, like I said, Burnsville, Minnesota, I can send you an invite. And then I also have Facebook Stampin' for Joy. So I have a lot of fun doing this, and my friends and I are putting on an event coming up Saturday, July 18th. You will be making 16 handmade cards. Hi, Tina, welcome. And it is in Highland Park, St. Paul at St. Luke's, and we demonstrators will bring our retired product so that you can shop at steep discounts. So check that out at thestampinevent.com, and that's just a few days away. Like I said, today is July 3rd, and our event is like 2 weeks and a day away. And then the virtual stampinevent.com. Happy Friday to you as well. I will be showing a card that you'll be making at the in-person event, and then I'll be showing, these are flybys. Hi, Sherry, I see you. And then I'm going to show a card that I'm using at the virtual event. Now, the 4 cards that I will be featuring at the in-person event will also be the same 4 cards that I will be, I should say, the same stamp sets in bundles. They're going to be 4 different cards because we focus on stamping and die cuts here. This one, we focus on die cuts, designer series paper, embossing folders, because we cannot stamp for you. And this way, it allows you to have whatever stamp set that you want to use for your greetings on these cards. So check that out. Kimberly, hi, welcome. So that is thevirtualstampinevent.com. It is Saturday, July 25th. Now, I know that if you go to the, thank you for the hearts and the loves. I love that. If you go to the in-person event and you purchase the virtual Stampin' event, you will save the shipping fee because you can take your kits home for the virtual event. Now, if you are in a different state, I suggest getting on the virtualstampevent.com, register right away, so then that way you know that we'll give you your packet in the mail. Hi, Dawn. Hi, Barb. Wow, I got 5 people on at the same time. Woohoo! Happy Friday, guys. It's a party at Joy's house, technically. Apartment. But anyways, it gives you enough time to get the packet in the mail. Okay, so that's it. And I have, let's see, just a few things to talk about. Like I said, if you do not have a demonstrator, I got another 6 people. Yay! I get happy, guys. I'm not talking to myself then. Well, I'm always talking to myself, whether you guys are here or not. So after tonight's event, I'm going to start cutting up, getting my kits ready for both events. So if you do not have a demonstrator and you would love to have a catalog, I have one. I can mail it to you. All right. Then if you are, I'm just going to kind of give you, well, actually, it's not a sneak peek anymore because it is July. So the online exclusives that were released July 1st, I can actually show this to you now. I don't have anything in here yet. So I just wanted to show you the brochure. You could certainly, well, I printed it off. So the difference between these two things is that we have a catalog and then we have the online exclusives, which will never see a publication. And this offers Stampin' Up! A way to introduce new product every other month. And then the other month is when they will add to the last chance products list. Now, I hope you guys have had a chance to have go on to the last chance list and get whatever it is that is discounted on your shopping list, because these things are while supplies last and they don't always last long. So if you see it there, go get it. Now, here is just kind of a little snippet of some of the things that you can get in the July online exclusives. Just wanted to kind of give you a couple things. This is featuring a really cute stamp set, and I'm like this close to getting it. And I am not a quilter, but this cardinal right here is my favorite thing. And it's like, I love cardinals. I love birds. I'm a bird brain. And I love the fact that you can paper piece this stocking. So it's like, and you know what? The other side that is not the quilting stuff is great for any holiday. It's great for the other seasons. I mean, gosh darn it, Joy. It's great for the other side because they're very, they're usable. They're not really noisy. They're very subtle. Like little tiny flowers, snowflakes, holly, and dots and stuff. Dots and stuff. All right, so the last thing that we have to talk about is Stampin' Up! Is going to offer a craft class. Now, you can purchase this pretty poinsettia bundle right now, which is 168147, and the poinsettia craft class is 171477. Now, if you order the craft class, Stampin' Up! Is going to send you access to a Facebook group only for the people that joined with the craft class. Now, they will send you the measurements of the things that you need to cut. And then one of the Stampin' Up! Experts will show you exciting tips and techniques, and you can create samples with these things that you can actually recreate for your Christmas cards. I want to say it is July 16th, so you're going to have to hurry up and get that so you have it in time. Now, number one, if you don't have the 16th available, you can watch it later on demand as many times as you want. You could stop it, pause it, rewind it. It's a great way. I took one of the classes and I absolutely loved it. So I do suggest taking that and learning something fun. Okay, guys, let's see here. We're going to be using the Moonlit Flora Suite collection. And the designer series paper was kind of what I wanted to play with in my mind. I said, which one do I want to play with? And then I said, I like this one. I like the idea that the white and the berry burst make Carolyn, hi, my friend. And then you'll try to stay awake. Uh-oh. I will show you a flyby if you stay awake. Okay, so, and then I'm like, well, I want to use the folder too. So I actually didn't use any of the designer series paper. I just took my idea from this little piece. So that's where we went. All right, and let's see here. The Moonlit Flora Stampin' bundle is something that I love playing with. So I just want to show you a couple things. Number one, I learned a while ago to take my stamp set on the harder plastic and just outline with a Sharpie where everything goes, okay? And then what I do is I take the fold that slides right into here and I put it on the back side, okay? Then I take a hole punch and I cut a little hole and then I just slide that right on in. Okay, I'll keep talking and hopefully my voice will not lull you to sleep. And then with the Fern and Flora dies, I put that on a magnetic sheet and then I use the Papermate Lovejoy gel pens, and I use that on the magnet sheet to outline where everything goes. Because sometimes when you're designing cards and you take everything off, it's hard to put them back on because there's so many dies. So this way it helps me keep everything organized. All right, so we're also going to be using the two-toned Mossy Meadow cardstock tonight. All right, so let's give you a flyby. Let's see here. This is going to be an in-person card, and it is a fun fold, and it is incoming, okay? And then that is featuring the Moonlit Flora Suite Collection. And then I'm going to show you the virtual Moonlit Flora Suite Collection flyby card. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. So that hopefully keeps you interested in this particular suite, because it was my first thing that was on my pre-order. Okay, so we have this one here is a scrap that I did not use and I had extra. So we're going to use this for flowers. And that's why I don't have it with a measurement on it, just because it's a scrap. This is also a scrap, but I have a measurement on it, so then that way you know what to cut it out. So this is going to be 3 by 1.5, and that's basic white. And then I have another piece of basic white to scrap, and it's 2 3/4 by 1. That's going to be for our greeting. Now this here is the Mossy Meadow two-tone. So we're going to actually be using, let's see, can you see the difference in the colors? We're going to be using the lighter color of the Mossy Meadow, and that is 2 by 3. And then I have a piece of Old Olive, which is 1 3/4 by 2.5. And you can see, you know, there is quite a difference in between those colors there. And this is going to be our inside panel, and it is 4 1/4 by 2 3/4. And then we have Berry Burst, and this is going to be our card base, our card, and it is 5 1/4 wide by 8 inches long, and I scored it at 4. And then we have Secret Sea, and I sure hope that this is going to be a color that when they have the new colors come out, they're going to do a refresh next year in 2027. And so this is 5 5.5 by 4 1/4. So that is the measurements for the card that we're going to be creating tonight. Now, this card, I actually took the idea from a catalog that was a couple years ago. Another demonstrator had sent to me, she asked me if I had time for a question, and I said sure. And she said that there was something that she had found, and she wanted to know what the name was so that she could look it up. And it was called Layer Ease, and it was like little discs with the circle in the middle, and you took that like a pencil and you went around, say like a greeting, and then you use that to cut it around it. So then that way you had a border around that greeting, and then you would just fussy cut it out. And I said, sure, but I don't know. I said, it's going to take me a while to look for it. And I said, was it in a case? And she said, I think so. So I own every catalog that Stampin' Up! Has come out with since 1997. And I picked 2 catalogs, and wouldn't you know, it wasn't in the first catalog, it was in the second catalog, but I saw some cute stamps, cards in there, and I took pictures of them just because then I could remember what they look like. And so tonight's card is, I joyed it up a little bit. So that's where we got tonight's card from. Now I am going to take a drink. I am drinking a smoky orange margarita from Cayman Jack's. It's a new flavor, and I really like it. And okay, so that gives us enough time. So the reason why I like to give the measurements like this is so that way you're like, you know what? I really like Joy's layout. I wanna, make it. So you remember that it's hashtag $4.99. You figure out if you want to watch it on my YouTube page or my Facebook page or my Joy Borwedge Facebook page, and then get everything you need cut up, and then you can make it along. So that's the reason why I like to do this, to give you ideas to be creative. So you could take my idea and change it and make it your own, or you could copy it the same exact way. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is stamp some stuff. So we're gonna move these. Actually, let's do some stamping on this. We're gonna stamp on this, and we're gonna die cut, and we're gonna put this one through the embossing, well, this one through the embossing folder, this one through the die cut, and then we're gonna stamp on this, and we're gonna stamp on this. So we're gonna grab the Stampin' Pearson mat, because when you have photopolymer, it works best when you have a spongy background. Okay, so we're going to use Secret Sea, Berry Burst, and I'm going to use Memento. I have the new hybrid, but it takes too long for my happiness to dry when I want to use Stampin' Blends. So, but it's a nice black. I do like it. And you just have to let it dry, and because it could smear. Okay, so this piece we're going to do Sincere Thanks, and that is going to be in Memento. And we're going to use the banner punch. Just tap, tap, tap. And that's just going to go right there. Beautiful. And I'm going to put that over to the side because, like I said, we're going to punch that out. And then we are going to stamp the flowers in Memento. Tap, tap, tap. No squishing. Let's just allow that to color, or the ink to move, transfer. Okay, and then we're going to do the moths, because we are going to do some coloring with the blends. Okay, and there we go, and then we're going to die cut them out. All right, and I think that is it for the Memento right now. And then, oh, nope, gosh darn it. I know I do this. When I design my card, I don't always design in original order. And so then I always forget when I change things around. Okay, so we're actually going to put that right there. And that right there. Okay. There we go. And now I am done with the black. Okay. Then put that in my bin so I don't lose it. And then we're going to do coloring with that. I'll just keep all my stamped items in a spot. Then this is going to be our inside of our card, at least part of it. And we're going to take these. Am I cutting out? I have a slow connection, so hopefully it's just that. Okay, so we're just going to line this up a little bit up, but a little bit down. And so anyways, I was able to help her figure out where they were. And sorry about that, guys. I hope you can understand what it is I'm trying to say. Let's see. Never mind, I still need that. Let's see. What I want to do is do the greeting for this, and we're going to do the inside greeting. And I'm going to actually have two ink pads open at the same time. Ah, I know. Let's see. That is going to say, the outside's going to say sincere thanks. And then the inside of the card, it's going to say, you make the world a better place. And we're going to stamp this whole thing in Berry Burst. Okay, good. All right, so then we're just going to move that out of the way. And we're just going to kind of tap, tap, tap. We're going to move it around a little bit. And then we're going to go right there. And so we kind of have a two-toned greeting for the inside of our card. Okay. Then we're going to close up the ink pads because that can be an invitation for unhappiness and a lot of swear words. All right, so for just a moment, I'm just going to take a few seconds and I am going to clean off my stamps using my Simply Chamois. Now I cut my Simply Chamois into quarters, and same thing with the chamois that came with the glass matte studio. So then that way I have different stations, like when I do stamp camps at my apartment or at the event at the church, then every table has a chamois. Okay, so then now we're going to color this. We're going to punch this out, and we're going to use the banner punch. And I did not leave myself a big enough cards. I did not use a big enough piece. So I'm going to show you a trick. When you have a small piece, just take a Post-it note. And I use that to, okay, maybe not. Let's just go this way. There we go. And now you have, let's see, how did I want to do this? I think that is how I want to do that. Okay, punch. And that we can get rid of. This, we can just peel off the Post-it note. And didn't that turn out cool? Okay, so we'll put that over there because, oh, okay, good. That was just a piece. I'm like going, what is on that? Okay, so now we're going to color. And then we're going to die cut. So I'm going to be very I have Old Olive and Berry Burst. And then I have a color lifter. I'm like, what's that called? Okay, so I'm actually going to sit down. Sorry about that. And I'm going to color because I have a hard time coloring and when I'm standing up. And I want to stay within the lines. I'm going to use my dark Old Olive and we're going to do the veins. And I'm going to basically do kind of one thing at a time because I don't want it to dry out by the time. I have the fan blowing on me, so I don't want my color. It's humid in Burnsville and icky. When it's above 80, I don't like it. Okay. Because I have a hard time cooling down already, even when I have a pool at the apartment. Okay, so we're going to use dark Berry Burst. And I'm just going to kind of make lines because the image is small. And I'm not going to be really doing a lot of shading just because the surface, again, is so small. And I mean, I will be using the light, and I am going to be choosing to leave some white there. But I am just going to kind of go up towards the top with a little bit of light. I don't know if you'll be able to see that all that much, but again, really not a lot of color shading, things like that. But I'm trying to leave some white. Okay, so that's actually how I want to do it. Maybe, there we go. Maybe turn the light on a little bit more. Okay, so then that is done for that one. And then might as well go back and do the green. So we're going to do, again, the veins. We're going to be doing dark old olive. And I'm just going to kind of do these two at the same time just because try to keep it not too long. All right. And I have next week off, so I am going to be doing a lot of card kit prepping. Okay, so then this is my light old olive, and I'm just using the nib tips again because the colors or the surface that I need to color is not very big, and it doesn't matter if I'm leaving some white in there because that actually is the look that I kind of like. Okay, so now we're just going to take the dark nib tip and again make some lines. So what are you guys doing for the 4th of July? Anything fun? I have been cleaning. I basically took the carpet. We have a carpet from the house that we lived in, and we have that in the dining room. And so I took all of that up and I mopped and cleaned off the counters like really well. I took everything off the counters and cleaned them and mopped everything. Did my bathroom and vacuumed the living room really well. I'm going to dust tomorrow. Don't have anybody come over, but I just want to start out my staycation with a nice clean home. And I made Oreo food, and I put the bird feeder out, the Oreo bird feeder with some grape jelly, and the hummingbird, they're going nuts. Okay, now that is that. If that focuses on it really well. Okay, and then we're gonna do the moths. And this was kind of a last minute addition. So I kind of thought I wanted to stay within the colors that I was using. And so I'm using the Berry Burst for my moths and the Color Lifter. So I'm going to use the dark nib tip, kind of like where the dots are. And then I actually did a color swatch on this because I always do the left is always the light and the dark is on the right, and then I do the nib tip on the top and the brush on the bottom. So I wanted to see what the colors looked like, and the light brush is the one that I'm going to use. Oops. It's a lot bigger, so I did kind of color outside the lines. I hate that. But that's what we have the Color Lifter for. And you can't stay in the lines. Yeah. So hopefully that'll go away. Doo-doo-doo. And then lightening it up just a little bit more than its intention. Okay, and then we're going to use the nib tip on the dark, and we're going to use that all the way around the moth. And this way as well. And then I'm going to kind of do where the body is. Okay. And then again, we're going to use the light. Let's see. Now I'm going to use the brush, the light brush. And we're going to kind of pull that together. Okay, and then, man, New York Yankees 5 and the Twins 2. They better get their butts in gear. And we're going to use the Yankees are supposed to be having a hard time. You play the Twins, and you don't have a hard time. We're just going to lighten this up again. And I think maybe I want to use the nib tip because I want more to kind of brush away. Okay, that looks kind of cool. All right, so we're done with that. And we're going to bring in the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And because we're done coloring. And throw that away. And I forgot that I'm going to use the Fern and Flora 3D embossing folder. And that is going to be with the light side. So this is the dark, this is the light. And that is Mossy Meadow. And so because I want the light, I'm going to put that right there at the line. And that's going to face up. When you use, it doesn't have to be at the line. I just don't want it to be off the page. When you use the embossing folder, you want to have the Stampin' Up! Logo facing up. And you want the spine going towards the rollers. Then you need the plate number 4. And we're going to just push that all the way through. And, oh, got to go a little bit more. All right, I'm going to take that out. And that is, you can see a little bit of the white. We'll be playing with that in just a little bit with some sandpaper. And now we're going to put the, where'd it go? Okay, never mind. Then we have plate number 1, number 2, and our cutting plate. And let's get all our stuff that we're going to be cutting out. Our butterflies, our flower, and our, come on, not butterflies, moths. It is a moth. Okay, here is our fern. And, oh, and I have our moth, the little guy right down there, the big guy right there, and our flowers right there. Okay, so I'm going to use some tape. This is Scotch tape. It's a paper tape. I get it at Walmart. I know that a lot of people use the Post-it note tape, but I don't have an Amazon account. And there we go. And then it's a sticky tape, so you want to just use your fingers and just kind of unstick it a little bit so that it comes off your cardstock without ripping it. Okay, and everything looks good. I'm going to put the top plate on and roll it through. Okay. Our little moth came out. There we go. And this guy. And then we're going to just take that off the die and put that on the magnet sheet that I always use. I have 2 magnet sheets specifically for where I die cut. I have a die cutting station in my stamp room, which is my bedroom. And it's waist high so that when I'm doing mass, like packing the kits and stuff, I can stand and then I can sit if I want to. And so I have magnet sheets at both places. So whenever I'm done, I do not put my dies anywhere else except for the magnet sheets, because that way I don't lose anything. And I'll just roll that through and let it sit like that so I can move it over. Okay, and one thing that I want to do with this fern is I want to add a little detail, and this is the light, and so I'm just gonna take that, and where the lines are for the, like the veins of the flower or leaf, I am just going over that with my blend. You probably can't see it, but there's a little tiny definition there, And then I'm going to do that with, and I'm not going to hit all of it, with the dark nib tip. And so some of it's going to hit, some of it's going to be so I don't know if you could see, some of it's darker and some of it's lighter. So it kind of gives it a little definition of it. And so it's not going to blend in with our piece that we're going to use sandpaper on. And I'm going to grab some sandpaper. And you can decide how much you want to sand off. And it's really easy. The two-tone cardstock is different than our regular cardstock. Our regular cardstock is colored all the way through, whereas our two-tone cardstock is actually inked up. Okay, it's like painted on, it's printed on, and white, and so then it has a white core, and so that gives you a variety of techniques so that you can have some fun playing with the colors. And you can rip it, you can so that's the reason why I put that on there, so that it stands out a little bit. Okay, so then we're going to grab our our silicone sheet, and I am going to use a bunch of mini glue dots. And I like the mini glue dots rolled up, and what it does is it allows you to give a little bit of height rather than using dimensionals, and this way you can put it through the mail and not have to worry about, I mean, we are going to use dimensionals, don't get me wrong, but instead of having everything on dimensionals, just some things. Just roll it up between your fingers. And you don't have to do every one if you don't wanna. And I'm just going to skip the next grouping and go with that one. Just roll it back. And that one right there. Now the card that I saw in the other catalog was a vertical card. I am doing horizontal. Come on. Sometimes it doesn't want to come off your fingers. Okay, there we go. And one final little one. There we go. And then I'm just going to tear that off. I got all the pieces off. And we're just going to stick, well, first of all, we're going to put some adhesive on the whole thing because it's been, no, we're not. Let's see. I forgot. We got to do something. We're just going to put that right there so that we don't. There. Okay, so we're going to use this as a height restriction thing. Okay, so I forgot that I need to stamp this part. Okay, so we're going to take this and we're just going to line that up about there. There we go. And then we're going to grab a scrap piece of paper. And we're going to put that right there. Well, a little bit more over. There we go. And go up. Carolyn, you still with us? You sleeping? Okay, and then we're going to put this down like that. So it kind of gives us the illusion that it's going all the way down. Okay, we'll have to clean that later. Now we can put adhesive all the way around this. Close the ink pad up. And that's going to go. Got to take this off. Just in case you don't know how to use a tape runner, you need to take that off in order to use it. And we're going to go all the way around because this has been embossed. And we're going to lay that just, thank you, Barb. Just like that. Yay, Carolyn! You haven't fallen asleep yet. Gosh darn it. I'm not supposed to do that. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. I'm having a fight with myself. I did not. Oh, I originally wanted to do that, but then I decided to put it on dimensionals. This is the reason why you watch me, guys, is so that you know how to fix stuff. Oh, I'm so funny. All right. Okay, so let's see if we can make it so that it's not going to stick to our card. You know what? You know how we can fix that? We are going to fix that by taking our... Okay, so we're going to put our dimensionals where we want them. Okay. And then we're not going to take the backings off. Now we're going to take the embossing buddy and we're going to dullen the embossing, or sorry, the glue that, you know, somebody put on because they changed their mind when they were designing the card. There we go. That's how you fix that. Oh man, can't believe I did that. Yes, I can. All right, and then we're going to put a dimensional in the middle, just because, for shits and giggles. And yes, I said that. Giggles. Just giggles. Okay, now you can like that. All right, and I'm going to lay that just lightly down, because this is actually going to go right there. And now we can push that down. Okay. Then we'll put a little bit of adhesive right there. And get that in there. Then we're going to take our leaf and we're going to add the Wink of Stella on it. just on the part that we colored with our blends. Just to kind of set it off a little bit. Okay. There we go. And I'm not going to stick my fingers in the glitter. So there we go. The dimensionals works just fine. And then we're going to take our mini glue, take our stuff, our center. Might as well put that in there, seeing as how it's sitting right here. And we're going to put that in like that. We'll come back in and add the wink of Stella in just a moment. Because might as well do, you know, everybody at the same time. All right, and then the flower. It's going to go right there. And then we're going to take a mini dimensional, get rid of the big ones. And we're going to do 2 minis on the back side. Well, 1 on each actually, because we're going to flip the wings up. Stab and grab those backings. And the big guy, I'm just going to kind of curl its wings up. That's going to go right down there. And then this guy is going to go right there. Okay. And then I'm going to use the Wink of Stella. I'm not going to do the whole thing. We're just going to kind of do the body and kind of the outside, you know, where the darker shading was. And then I'm going to grab, put away the silicone craft sheet because we're done with that. And dimensionals can go away. Alright, so then I'm going to just kind of do the flowers. And the inside. I'm not doing every spot, just kind of hitting a lot of it. I'm going to clean that off and then do the leaves. See if you can see that sparkle. I saw a little bit. There we go. And then we'll do the front flowers. Oh, we already did the front flowers. Front flowers? Okay. Boy. All right. And oh, greens. That's what I was doing. Duh. Okay. Now clean that off. Then we're going to take this and add it to the Secret Sea. Because that just pops it out. Okay, now we're going to take the black and we're going to make a bow for our bouquet. A little smaller. I like to make my bows appropriate for the size of the bouquet. Perfect. All right, I'm gonna grab my ribbon scissors. Now this is, oops. Okay, so we're gonna take this and roll this back up. Oh, bummer. I always put a notch in, ever since the linen thread, which used to be on a rolled up container, ever since they flipped it around and did everything on a spool, I put a little notch in there so that once I'm done with it, this is called the Baker's Twine Essential Pack, and so this comes in here. And that way I will always be able to find my ends. And then we're going to take, oops, I got to take my bow and put that on a mini glue dot. Oops. All right. It landed on the mini glue dot, but not where I wanted it to land. So that's where it's going to go, right there. And then we're going to take that and we're going to squish it and make that a little bouquet. And so the fern in the back kind of gives it kind of something to sit on, so it doesn't, doesn't blend right on in. So, and then we're going to take the dewdrop embellishments, and it comes in the suite. And I'm going to grab my take your pick tool, and we're going to use the putty end, and I'm going to grab the big one, and I'm going to put that right down there in the Secret C, and then I'm going to grab a small one and put that right on our banner, and then grab the other one, and I'm going to put that right next to the fern, in between the moth and the fern. So I created a triangle with that. I also created a triangle with the berry burst items on there as well, so that it gives it's pleasing to the eye. And the big moth is down at the bottom. It gives it weight. Okay. So let's see here. Who wants to win this card? I mean, it's simple enough to recreate. Oops. Get back up in there. I'm going to have to put a dimensional up there so that it stays raised. And let's see here. That's what take your pick tools are for. We're going to take the adhesive scissors that Stampin' Up! No longer sells, but they were Stampin' Up! They still are, but we don't sell them anymore. And so we're just going to put that, because somebody decided to put adhesive on the whole thing. I don't know who would have thought that, but it wasn't a good idea. That would be me. When you start out with one way of a card and then you change your mind in the midst of designing it, yeah, sometimes it's kind of hard to keep everything straight. Okay, so who wants to win this card? We'll start that over again. You can get a chance to win this card by doing 3 things. You can do a thumbs up or a heart. That gets your name entered into the drawing. You can leave a comment. Now you can do the thumbs up and the heart after the replay. while you're watching the replay. I want to give everybody a chance to get, to get entered. And then if you leave a comment either during the video or while watching the replay, that'll get your name entered to win. And then if you share this on your timeline, whether you're watching now or you share it while within the 30 days of the Facebook allowance of the video, if you share that, and that gets your name entered 2 times. And so that gives you a great chance to win by entering 4 different times, or 4 different ways, I should say. So you guys, I hope that you have a great 4th of July. And if you're not doing anything, I hope that it's great for you, whatever you're doing. It's crafty. It's a crafty weekend. So guys, take care. I will see you on Sunday for episode number 500. Yay! I will be doing a fun fold. So, yeah, Carolyn, all your fault. She suggested that I do a fun fold for my 500 Facebook Live, which will be Sunday after 5 o'clock. And so hopefully we'll have, several people on. You guys take care. Have a great time. See you on Sunday. And happy